All right. I am joined by Nick Peter of the National Weather Service. It's cold and the Arctic air is getting ready to set in, Nick. And so we all know that it's going to feel pretty brutal
Yep.
tomorrow morning for the kids. Let's talk about wind chills. What is a wind chill and
A
what
wind
is a
chill,
wind chill advisory? Sorry.
sure. A wind chill is the effect of what it feels like when you factor in the wind.
Mhm.
Your body tries to keep you warm, but when the wind is blowing, it kind of lessens the ability. Basically carries the heat away, and when you add wind on top of really cold air, you end up with what we call the wind chill readings, wind chill factors. So yeah, it's going to be really cold this week. Probably the coldest air of this winter season.
And so an advisory could be issued, but as of course, Tuesday morning, we haven't had one in our area. What triggers that for Central North Carolina? What level do we need to get down to that we think we could reach to see that
Right.
happen?
So we have the wind chill advisory criteria and the wind chill warning criteria varies across the country based on climatology and what people are used to. So here in Central North Carolina, the wind chill readings have to get down to 0 to
Mhm.
trigger a wind chill advisory and 15 below for a wind chill warning. However, even if we don't have a wind chill advisory, the wind chill readings we're expecting Wednesday morning, uh, Saturday morning and Sunday morning, we're expecting single digit wind chills. And when you get that low, it's dangerous whether there's an advisory out in effect or not. So folks need to take precautions to stay safe during this cold blast. But yeah, there absolutely is a potential that we will need a wind chill advisory for Central North Carolina these next couple days that are going to be really cold. So we'll see. But either way, uh, people need to be ready for this cold blast.
All right. And so when you say be ready, I'm thinking, especially as the morning meteorologist, the bus stop.
Yes.
Should kids, does that mean layer up extra? Should they even go to the bus stop tomorrow? Would you encourage moms, dads, if they can, try and carpool or take them to school?
So my advice is really to dress in layers. Dress as warm as you can. Dress in layers. When you dress in layers, that adds extra insulation, if you will, between the layers and helps keep you warm. Remember, you lose a lot of heat through your head, so make sure you cover your head with some warm layers. And also, maybe a lot of school districts use have cell phone apps where you could track your bus and see if it's approaching and then head outside. So if your school district offers such a tool, definitely make use of that. And maybe wait till the school bus is approaching your stop before you head outside. I know when my kids were going to school, taking the bus, I would drive my car to the bus stop and just keep the car warm, and they could wait in the car. So there's a variety of ways you can stay safe in this cold air and these cold mornings at the bus stop.
And this cold air is getting ready to set in for days in a row. I mean, is this a time to also protect, be running that water too in your house? Or do you think?
Right, right. Well, here in the Carolinas, sometimes we'll find construction where water pipes are actually very close to the surface or even above ground, especially folks with wells. So
Mhm.
if you have a situation like that, you're going to need to make sure that your well and your pipes and any water pipes that you have above ground or even just a little bit below the surface are well insulated. Make sure you take those precautions as sort of a thing to kind of a sort of a when you get in these really cold situations.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, what I do is I find the faucet, the sink that's sort of the last one in the house before the water reaches its destination, and I just let that drip a little bit overnight just to keep the water flowing through. And water flowing through the pipes can help prevent that freezing. So that's a tip that we pass along. Just go ahead and let one of your sinks drip very slowly. It doesn't have to be a full stream, just drip, 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 and that'll help keep the water in the pipes from freezing.
And we haven't seen this kind of cold in a while. I mean, it's been what, since about 2022?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, after a warm winter last winter, yeah, folks may not be remembering the safety tips for this. So, we need to kind of, again, take some time to think about how you're going to get ready. In fact, the National Weather Service has some really great safety tips on
Awesome.
staying safe, you can go to your favorite search engine and just search National Weather Service excessive cold safety, and you'll find some great resources for getting ready for cold. Or go to ready.gov for some great resources for cold safety.
And I always like to tell people too to check on their neighbors, because a lot of people, might not have heat, and it's a good idea to check on them as well. Make sure they're safe and can stay warm too. Do you have any other tips, Nick, as we get into these next stretch of cold days?
Absolutely. One of the things that I like to emphasize the most is if you are going to use space heaters or any type of alternate heating source, fireplaces, make sure you read the instructions on how to safely use those devices. Make sure that they're plugged into the proper outlets and not overloaded. Make sure they're not left unattended. Make sure you don't have them near items that could easily catch fire or overheat. Take the time to make sure you know how to use your space heaters and alternate heating sources, because what we see sometimes is that during these cold episodes, when people are using alternate heating sources or space heaters, unfortunately, we see a spike in fires because some of these devices may not be used properly. So take the time to learn how to safely use your space heaters and alternate heating sources.
Awesome.